like quotes because quotes are powerful because they're like little statements that pack a punch, like things you just remember. And sometimes you memorize them, sometimes you don't, but you remember the gist and what they mean. Well, on Monday, I posted 3 quotes from Martin Luther King. So I want to make a video for each one to tell you why I picked it. Because I spent some time looking at a lot of different quotes. And it was hard to narrow down to 3 because he says so many powerful things. Because I think the man lived a life of integrity, a life of purpose. And he impacted a lot of people. So here are the 3 quotes that I'm going to give more thoughts on. I posted them on Instagram. And I didn't memorize them all as of yet. But I think they were very powerful to me. So I posted them. And the first one is, if you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward. Martin Luther King Jr. That's the first one. I'll talk about that one in a moment. The second one is, I have decided to stick with love. Hate is too great of a burden to bear. And the third one we're going to talk about in the third video is part of his I Have a Dream speech. I look to a day when people will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. So let's go to the first one. If you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward. I really like that quote because it goes along with the Choose Well message. I think it's all about choices. Because even though you have choices and no one can take your ability to choose away. And that's seen very much in the civil rights movement, because even though they didn't have a lot of opportunity to do stuff, they still had an opportunity to choose how they would respond to how they were treated, dogs were let out on them, water hoses were, and the way they were treated as less than human simply because of the color of their skin. They still had a choice in how they responded. And I think that's what he was kind of talking about. Like, even as you approach and they approach trying to get equal rights, you couldn't fly. You couldn't go that fast. Well, just run. If you couldn't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward. And I really see that in my life in general, because there are a lot of things I can't choose for myself. A lot of things I can't, circumstance I find myself in that I didn't choose. But I always have to keep moving forward. This message is for not just blacks or people of color. It's for everybody in life, because we're all faced with situations. And if you've been to one of my messages, I use this puzzle piece image. And I talk about how you didn't choose the outside edges because that's how you were born. You didn't choose where you came from. But you can choose everything else. You can choose everything else in your life and how you respond to whatever circumstances you find yourself in. So for me, that was a powerful quote, because I don't think it's necessarily just about race. I think it definitely can be applied to the situation he was in, but I think it can be applied to anybody's situation and everybody's situation. Because no matter where you are in life, you have to choose to keep moving forward, no matter what your circumstance. I got a call the other day from somebody who wants me to do some stuff with a hospital that's dealing with drug rehabilitation and people getting off of addiction. And I said, I'd love to come and help, because that, again, is a choice. Yes, you're addicted. Yes, you've had this shortcoming, but you still have to choose to keep moving forward. Day by day, you can make these choices to make your life what you want it to be. And I'm not saying overcoming addiction is easy, and definitely not saying overcoming racism or segregation was easy. But like Martin Luther King Jr. said, you have to keep moving forward. No matter what you do, keep moving forward. So if you can't fly, run. If you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, crawl. But whatever you do in your life, you have to keep moving forward. And I'm not trying to say my quote is as good as his, but when you make better choices to keep moving forward, you will live a better life. And what I really appreciate about Martin Luther King Jr. is the fact that the life he led, the life of keep moving forward, impacted millions of people for generations and generations to come. So that's why I picked that quote, because I really resonate with that, with all of my message of choosing well. Because, again, quote one more time. If you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward. And that's one of the best choices you can make, no matter what situation you find yourself in. One that you chose to be in, or one you didn't choose to be in. But you can always choose to respond by always moving forward. Because when you make better choices, you will live a better life. So choose well and keep moving forward.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.